Hi everyone, today in Story Lane and we will discuss an anime entitled Kenichi, the Mightiest Disciple. This video is part 2. If you haven't watched part 1, you can check it out in the description box or on the video card here. Stay tuned, we will have spoiler to follow. The story begins with Kensei, who is training Kenichi Bagua stance. This motion is good to defend and attack opponents. Kensei even taught his own technique by using one hand to push the opponent's elbow and chin. The next morning, Miu was having a drama performance. Hearing that, Kizara and her men came to take revenge and ruin the performance. Kenichi, who couldn't see Miu sad because her performance was ruined, finally came to them and didn't let them pass by. He then beat them up using various techniques of karate, Muay Thai, Jujutsu, and Kung Fu. Kizara was surprised to see Kenichi had developed faster and wanted to fight him, but Kenichi said he didn't want to fight women. Hearing that, Kizara was furious and her kicks grew stronger as she felt her pride was belittled. Her kicks made Kenichi fall many times, but he stood again and said if she had pride, then he also had his principle. Looking at Kenichi's spirit made Kizara amazed and chose to back up. On the way home with Miu, suddenly they were attacked by Hermit, the Sixth Fist. Hermit, who intended to separate Kenichi and Miu, then kicked Kenichi and made him fall on the bus and was followed by the Hermit. Worried if something happened, Kensei and Sakaki were tailing them. Hermit opened his road and revealed he was Miu's drama partner named Natsu Tanimoto. Tanimoto wondered if Kenichi learned Kung Fu from his master Misogetsu, but Kenichi said he was learning with my Kensei. Then Tanimoto showed the real Kung Fu. Tanimoto used Yukake's sect, which focuses on an open palms with speedy hand rotation and created great damage. One technique is Yuri Banda, which enables to hit the air conditioner dented. There is also another technique where Tanimoto went behind his opponent and hit his opponent's neck. Due to extreme training, Kenichi managed to handle his attack and perform technique from Kensei. Once in dojo, Kenichi asked Kensei about Misogetsu. He didn't answer and walked out of the dojo. When they arrived at the Chinese restaurant, they met Renkama, who was Kensei's daughter. Renka was mad because her father left the Phoenix Alliance, which have 10,000 followers in China, and handed it over to her mother. Renka wanted to take him home, but Kensei ran and left Kenichi. Renka was informed that Sugetsu had become the mafia's bodyguard. Arriving there, Renka tried to fight Sugetsu, but she was no match for Sugetsu. Kensei came and saved her. It turned out that Sugetsu was Mackenzie's older brother. This time, Sugetsu against Kensei. It can be said the first battle among the Grandmasters in this series. Kensei used soft form style, which focuses on defense and endurance like in Taichi and Bagua's Hang Sex. Meanwhile, Sugetsu used hard form style, which focuses on the muscles and bones hardness. Kenichi was amazed for the first time witnessing the mega battle until destroyed their surrounding. After a long fight, Sugetsu succeeded in giving a blow to Kensei, but Kensei managed to return with a stronger blow. Looking at the building, which was almost completely burned down, Sugetsu admitted defeat and asked Kensei to leave. At the restaurant, Nijima saw Loki, or the Fourth Fist. Nijima and his men didn't waste their chance and attacked Loki, who was alone. But it turned out that everyone at the restaurant was Ragnarok. After that, they beat up Nijima and others. Fortunately, Kenichi, Takeda, and Yukita, who were passing by, saw and helped them. Then Kenichi brought out his first Shirahama-style technique, Stroma's combo, which merged with Loki's technique. Unfortunately, he was fake. One day when Nijima was spying on Ragnarok, he was captured by Siegfried. Kenichi, who was hearing the news, tried to save Nijima and fight against Hibiki. Siegfried, with 5 fists, named Hibiki Kujinin. His martial art was created by himself and could be said a counterattack and only could be mastered by himself. Due to his flexible and hard figure, Stroma's combos, Kenichi didn't have impact on Hibiki and was returned to Kenichi. Facing deadlock, Kenichi attempted to use the second technique from Shirahama-style sect. It's called Ryusei Siku Strongest. This technique was his creation by combining principles of karate, jujutsu, kung fu, and Muay Thai. This time his blowing strike couldn't be held and Hibiki fell down. The next morning when Kenichi sat in Shinpaku Alliance room, suddenly Loki kidnapped Hanoka and called Nijima. Hearing that, Kenichi rushed to the place where Hanoka was kidnapped and he was intercepted by Tanimoto. Kenichi had a hard time dealing with deadly techniques from the sect performed by Tanimoto. Then Kenichi found a way to lock his hand's movement. But Tanimoto surprised him with a Hakyukyukin sect, which suits him to use in close combat, and gave him Seishin Q attack. Seishin Kao is one of Hakyukyukin's sect technique, which makes internal damage to his rival with a powerful strike on his chest. Tanimoto, who succeeded to use Seishin Kao and Hakyukyukin, made Kenichi overwhelmed. but he didn't budge. Kenichi used Senkyugai technique from Hakyukyukin sect, which pushed his opponent hard with both hands and made Tanemoto bounce off. Tanemoto was shocked to see Kenichi was able to use technique from Hakyukyukin sect. Staying their battle made Loki lose his patience and decided to fight Kenichi himself. In the matter of martial arts, Loki was the weakest among the 8 fists, but he was the most cunning of all. He was willing to do anything to win. Loki beat Kenichi out and would harm Honoka if he fought back. Remembering his past when his sister passed away made Tanemoto cannot stand it and left Ragnarok. Tanemoto took out the knife and beat Loki's subordinates. Seeing Honoka, who was saved, made Kenichi move to beat Loki. After that came Odin. Ryudo Asamiya, the first fists, who was the leader of Ragnarok, asked Loki to stop fooling around or he will beat him up. After that, Tanemoto met Kensei. Kensei was glad to meet a disciple of Sugetsu. Kensei, who was an acupuncturist, healed Tanemoto to feel better. Yuketa, Takeda, and Kenichi couldn't help but join Shinpaku Alliance. Meijima brought Kenichi and others to fight against Thor and his men in gambling. Thor, the 7th Fist's real name was Yu Chiaki. He was a modern sumo wrestler. Kenichi went one-on-one with Chiaki with sumo regulation, and the one who leaves the arena loses the game. Kenichi was walking around in his childhood place and accidentally met Odin. Kenichi was surprised to find out that Odin, who was the first Fists and the leader of Ragnarok, was his childhood friend. Ryudo was mad at him because Kenichi forgot their promise. He reminded Kenichi that they promised each other to prove who was the most powerful fighter in the future. In front of Ryudo, Kenichi was not his match at all. Ryudo explained he used Sekyukin technique from ancient martial arts. Sekyukin creates a control circle around the user for defense and attack. All of Kenichi's strikes could be repelled easily. To finish the battle, Ryudo used crisscross technique and Kenichi fell down. Ryudo took Kenichi's yin-yang pin as a sign of his victory. Seeing the 8 Fists members had leaving Ragnarok made Nejima make a move to them. Nejima had done anything to recruit them. Chiaki and Hibiki joined voluntarily since Nejima promised them a good deal. Nejima also threatened Kizaru, who was fond of cats, and Kizaru agreed to follow him. The story switches to Kenichi, who would be trained by Ryu's grandfather, Heiano Furinji. It made the masters of Ryuzen Paku shocked and worried if Kenichi would die dealing with the crazy training. Heiano brought Kenichi to Yamagatani Forest and asked him to live and search for his food for a week in the forest. Unable to hold back his hunger, he finally fainted and was saved by Ishinsei of Gata. Ishinsei showed him how to kill a bear easily, which made Kenichi think he was a grandmaster. Ishinsei offered him to be his disciple and train him a killing technique that could make him the most powerful fighter in the world, but Kenichi refused it and went back to Heigo. After a week of survival, Heigo thought Kenichi was a Sei-type fighter. In the Kenichi series, every martial arts expert was divided into 2 types, Sei and Do. Sei-type tends to act calm, just like Takeda, Kensei, Kotsuji, and Shiger. Meanwhile, Do-type tends to act aggressively, just like Miyu, Apachai, Sakaki, and Heiyodo. Then he taught Sekyukin technique to Kenichi. The story switches and reveals that Ishinsei was Ryudo's master. After Kenichi successfully issued Sekyukin, Heiyodo trained him even crazier than ever to perform better. Seeing Kizaru joining Shinpaku Alliance made Freya frustrated and came to her. Freya, the 3rd Fist's real name was Kaname Kupitachi. She was a jujutsu practitioner and fights using staff. Against Kaname, Kizaru had a hard time and was hit numerous times. Kizaru couldn't land a punch on Kaname. Kaname was able to split his staff in 2 and hit Kizaru from any side. Finally, Kizaru found her weakness, and by using double Jikai technique, she kicked with both legs. Seeing her staff was broken made Kaname admit defeat. Kaname was glad knowing Kizaru became stronger. Loki, who felt Shinpaku Alliance growing, decided to make all members of Ragnarok fight against Shinpaku Alliance. Even though Ragnarok had more members, Shinpaku had former strong members of Ragnarok, including 8 Fists. Even Tanemoto helped Shinpaku due to his grudge against Loki. Looking at the mess created by Loki made Odin throw him out. Loki, who had prepared, brought out the new 8 Fists of his own. He offered the leader position to Berserker. Loki also founded Holy Ragnarok and offered other members of Ragnarok and asked them to choose to stay or move. When the members of Ragnarok had been provoked and wanted to fight Odin, Berserker turned to fight new 8 Fists and Loki. After the internal issue had been resolved, Odin came to Chiaki and gave a powerful Shintukai attack on his chest. When Odin was ready to give him the second blow, Kenichi came and saved him. The Ragnarok members who were trying to fight Kenichi were beaten up easily with Seikyuken technique. After that, the epic battle between Hermit and Berserker started. Hermit also had extreme training after leaving Ragnarok. Berserker wanted to see how much he had improved. Berserker had a natural talent as an invincible street fighter and had defeated many fighters. Berserker locked Hermit's neck and threw him. Hermit was able to block and revealed Kung Fu from his master Mesogetsu. Berserker was glad to see Hermit become stronger. He launched a strong kick that couldn't be blocked by Hermit. Feeling proud, he was caught off guard and got Yoryuban to strike. Berserker felt happy to find his match opponent for the first time and activated his Berserk mode. Once the mode activated, all of his attack pattern changes randomly and was hard to guess. All of his attacks became difficult to handle. However, Hermit actually provoked for close combat so he could use Hekkeiken and Hakkyokuken Sect to finish Berserker. When Berserker was caught off guard, Hermit hit him hard. Berserker was so powerful. Even though he had broken his hand, he still could use it to hit his opponent. Berserker was very talented and powerful, but he would definitely be defeated by martial practitioner with great effort. Finally, Berserker was defeated, and it made him frustrated. Then Hermit handed Odin to Kenichi. When fighting Kenichi, Ryuta was surprised that Kenichi was able to use Seikyuken technique, which he hadn't known before. Ryuta thought Kenichi must be trained by a monster. Finally, they collided their Seikyuken power. Even though both of them used Seikyuken, Ryuta was above Kenichi. Then Kenichi used the first technique he had learned from Mew. It was Kung Fu technique, Kohui, and Haihu from Bagwashang Sect. After that, Ryuta took off his glasses and his vision became blurry. Ryuta used Inner Eye technique. It comes from ancient martial arts sect where the user sees using inner power and remembering the opponent's rhythm. That's why Ryuta's Seikyuken was stronger and impenetrable. Ryuta was able to issue a technique which able to unleash strike many times without being blocked by Kenichi. Kenichi tried his strongest technique, Shirahama style, but Ryuta's defense was still impenetrable. Realizing all his attacks can be overcome due to the monotonous rhythm, Kenichi changed his rhythm from the third Shirahama style technique named Ryuzenpaku's rhythm. It was carried out by imitating all rhythms from his masters in Ryuzenpaku, and started with Apachai. After Ryuta adapted to the Muay Thai rhythm, Kenichi switched to Karat rhythm by Sakaki. He imitated well Yun's laughter. After that, he switched to Kung Fu rhythm from Kensei. The masters of Ryuzenpaku were astonished by his method. Kenichi also imitated Shigeru's rhythm as the weapon master. Shigeru, who watching this, felt happy with Kenichi. Lastly, he used Jujutsu from Kotsuji's rhythm. The masters were amazed watching their disciple. Feeling insulted by being cornered, Ryuta took out his last card. He activated his forbidden technique, Saido Goitsu from Einstein Martial Arts. This technique was founded by Ishinsai with principle of joining Ki from Sei and Do. Ki-Sai focuses giving power from within and Ki-Do gives explosive power out. This combination multiplied Ryuta's power. Ryuzenpaku's techniques were no longer useful against Ryuta. Ishinsai was glad to see Ryuta voluntarily become his pet to accomplish his technique. Having a landslide victory made Ryuta want to launch his final strike. Ishinsai was interested in Kenichi and tried to take both of them, but Ryuzenpaku stopped him. It seemed that the side effect of the forbidden technique had started. Kenichi, who was aware of this, tried to finish the battle as soon as possible. Kenichi took out all his power to save Ryuta. The side effect had completely damaged Ryuta. In order to save Ryuta, Kenichi unleashed all of his power on his last strike. Ryuta, who lost, returned Kenichi's pin. Ishinsai brought Ryuta and told Hayato that Ryuzenpaku would never be the strongest forever because Yomi is the strongest martial disciple organization had moved. And the story ends here. What do you think about part 2 of Kenichi and Mightiest Disciple? Tell me in the comment box, and don't forget to like and subscribe our channel by activating the bell to receive notification of the next video. Thank you for watching and see you on the next video.